What's going on, y'all? There we go. Trying to get my Instagram up and working. I don't know why they have it set up the way they have it set up. Oh man, a brother is tired tonight. I almost was like, man, I ain't gonna do it, but I gotta come through. I said I was gonna go live 4 nights a week. So here we are. I think I didn't start till Tuesday. I was talking about Monday through Thursday because I won't be going live on the weekends. Well, at least not right now. Tonight, we're talking about when hustling becomes hiding. When hustling becomes hiding. We're still in our series, Align, the shift that changes everything. And one part of being out of alignment is hustle culture. Hustle culture really messes up almost everything. I remember a few years ago talking to my bro Herm Jones. Shout out to Herm, the CEO. He had a tow truck, and a few guys I knew they had tow trucks, and they were running successful tow truck towing and transporting companies. And as always, hustle culture sees when somebody is successful, and they just want to hustle like these people. When these people aren't hustling, they're running legitimate businesses. So the hustle culture just sees money to be made and want to jump into business and treat it like a hustle because a hustle is not a business. A hustle is just something that you're doing to just try to scrape up a couple of dollars. It's not something that you love. It's not something that you care about. It's not something that you feel purpose to do. You're just trying to do it to gain a couple dollars. And so I was talking to him about the guys who just jumped in the game with, raggedy trucks. They're not paying no insurance. They don't have none of the overhead that the people with legitimate businesses have, and they just come in the game and they just taking any price. A tow that should be $300. They saying, are they? Because all they trying to do is hustle. They're not thinking about the future. They're not thinking about anything. They're just trying to hustle up a couple dollars right now. So a tow that should be 300, they're like, give me a buck 50, I'll do it. And they in the hustle culture destroys the entire game because you're not thinking long term. Yeah, all right. You done made that buck 50 real quick for a quick tow, but can you sustain that? Is that something that you can do for 10, 15, 20 years? Can you raise a family? Can you buy a home? Like, can you do all these long-term things or are you just hustling? And we have celebrated the hustle so much, but what's ironic is we think hustling is cool, but being hustled is bad. How can hustling be cool if being hustled is bad? Because somebody hustled you, you feel like they got over on you. But then we think the hustle on the other side is good. If being hustled is bad, then the hustle is bad, right? Those two things can't be opposites because they're the same thing on opposite sides. So you can't say the hustle is good, but being hustled is bad. But we have been programmed into this hustle culture where everything is about let's just do what we can to get what we want right now. That's it. That's it. We're not trying to think about the future. Everything is hustle, 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 hustle. And everybody's just telling to jump in this game. I'm gonna show you how to make six figures in 3 months. And everything is a hustle. And nobody's doing things that are coming from their heart. They're not doing things that are genuine. They're not doing things that they love. The moment they see anybody make some money doing something, boom, here they go, wanting to hustle, not wanting to do what they want to do. They're just hustling. And what I'm saying when hustling becomes hiding is when you are committed to the hustle, you're hiding your true self. When you're just committed from I know we all know somebody every year they doing something different. They're hustlers. Every year they're doing something different and they hide behind the hustle. Oh, I'm a hustler. I'm gonna get it by any means necessary. And I understand sometimes you have to do that, but at what point are we going to stop doing what's necessary and we're going to start doing what's purposeful? Are we going to start doing something that we love, something that comes from our core? When are we going to stop looking at, oh, this person was successful doing that? Well, maybe I should do that too. So when hustling becomes hiding is when you're committed to just hustling and trying to get whatever you can get right now, and you never take the time to develop yourself. So you are hiding the truest version of yourself behind the hustle because all you want to do is grab what you can right now. So and I'm not speaking negatively about the people who are hustling. I I just want to pull something else out of you because a lot of times the hustler does have a lot of talent, has a lot of skill. They just need to get aligned, as all of us do. So tonight I want to talk to a specific type of person, the one who's always busy, always grinding, always doing what they got to do. The one who's got discipline, got work ethic, got consistency, but still at the end of the day feels tired, still feels numb, still feels like, damn, I've done all this and I'm still not at peace. And you've been stuck in this cycle of grind, burnout, grind, burnout, grind, burnout, repeat, repeat, repeat. Well, this conversation is going to wake something up in you. This is night 3 of our alignment series, Align, the shift that changes everything. And this topic tonight, we're going to talk about why so many people are working nonstop and still feeling empty. We're going to break down how grind mode keeps you locked in survival, and we're going to explore what it actually looks like to build from alignment and not fear. So if you're watching this and you've ever asked yourself, why am I doing all what seems to be the right things? I'm doing everything that everybody told me to do. I'm grinding hard. I'm working hard. I'm not sleeping. I'm putting all the hours in, but I still feel like something is off. You are in the right place, baby. Let's get into this tonight. Most people confuse self-betrayal with discipline. What does that mean? That means you are not living the life that you're supposed to live, but you are so committed to the hustle and bustle of life, and you're doing it so well that you are confusing how disciplined you are doing the hustle, that you're betraying the truest version of yourself. So you think because you're doing the right thing and you have this perfect routine and you're able to bring some money in, but the fact of the matter is, you still feel off. Because I know I've been there. I've done all of the quote unquote right things and achieving the success, but sitting back like, yo, what does my life even mean? That's how deep I'm like, yo, what was I created for? I'm at my office at my computer. You got them screens where you got like 3 different screens up at one time. I'm looking at numbers here and numbers there and numbers there, and I'm sitting there like, yo, what was I? Was I really created for this? I had mad discipline, had mad skill, but I was not doing something that came from my heart. So I was confusing the discipline I had for living and building this life that wasn't from me with self-betrayal. I was confusing self-betrayal with the discipline. I thought it was discipline, but what it really was I was betraying myself. Now, discipline is supposed to be about building consistency from a place of vision. But most people aren't building from vision, they're building from fear. They're calling it discipline, but really it's punishment. It's, I have to get up at 5 a.m. or I'm going to be a failure. It's, I can't rest unless I've earned it. Have you ever been there? Oh man, I can't take no nap until I get this done. Yeah, you tired. You tired, but you talking about you can't take no rest until, oh man. The reason I just got kind of loud and passionate right there, because I was cussing myself out. Because I done been there. Dan there ready to fall asleep behind the wheel because I feel like because I didn't get X, Y, and Z done, I can't take a nap. What kind of foolishness is that? Then I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about me right now. I'm cussing myself out right now. I don't do this no more, but I'm cussing the old me out. The new me is cussing out the old me because I'm so mad that I really had this mindset where, man, you don't deserve sleep. What kind of foolishness is that? Just mad at myself for a second, y'all. Let me vent at myself for a little bit. It's I'm nothing unless I produce. How many of you, by the end of the night, you feel bad about the day because you didn't produce something? Some days you ain't supposed to produce. A fruit tree ain't producing fruit every single day. You got to wait for the fruit to bloom, to grow, to ripen. But this hustle culture got us thinking we got to see in the hustle, you make the money right now. You get the money, you get the cash in hand. You ain't got to wait a week or 2 weeks. You ain't got to wait a net 60, a net 90, or a net 120. You ain't got to wait. The hustle, you get it right now. So you get that dopamine fix. You're like, oh, I want to hustle more. I want to hustle more. I want to hustle more. But you're going to burn out. Think you're nothing unless you produce. And that's not discipline. That's a nervous system locked in survival, masquerading as self-control. That's your body tugging on you, trying to get you to go get that dopamine fix from getting that quick hustle. And you think that means you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're so disciplined. Nah, it's not that you're disciplined. You're betraying yourself. The problem is this mindset, it gets praise, and people love to celebrate the grinders, the ones who never stop, the ones who are always on. But if you dig beneath the performance, you'll often find a soul that doesn't feel safe unless they're working. I'm You ever been in the church and the priest like, man, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself. That's so one thing about me, y'all. I'm not teaching from theory. I don't teach from theory or idea. I teach from experience. Everything you've ever heard me taught is something that I've been through. And if it's not something that I've been through, it's something that I counseled and coached somebody else through. So it's something I have real experience with. And right now this is getting to me because I'm basically talking y'all through or trying to help y'all get through what I had to get through. Or you might not have gotten here. Yeah, I want to keep you from getting here. So beneath the performance, you'll often find a soul that doesn't feel safe unless they're working. They got to keep grinding because they feel like it's if I stop, everything falls apart. But we cannot live like that. Someone who learned that rest equals laziness, or someone who believes their worth is tied to their output, so they call it discipline, but it's really self-betrayal in disguise. Your worth is not tied to your output or what you produce every day. You're trying to create something, you're trying to build something. Some days there's not going to be anything built, and that's okay. That's okay. Because whatever you're building, it should be in flow, not force. And we get out of flow when we think self-discipline is forcing ourselves to make sure we get something done. But if you are outside of flow, then whatever you're getting done is not getting done to the best of your ability. But since we have this hustle culture, we feel like we have to accomplish something every single day. But listen, your life is not engulfed in whatever you're building. Some days, can you hear this little your life? I want y'all to get this because this is speaking to my spirit right now. Again, I'm talking to myself tonight. You as a human being who is having this experience in this reality, your life is not the sum total of what you are building, creating, or trying to create in order to make money to survive. So some days you just need to be human. Some days some days you do not need to have something tangibly accomplished towards some of your goals. Some days you just need to rest. Some days you just need to do something that makes you feel peace. Some days you just need to spend a couple hours sitting by the water. The hustle mindset has made us think that every day we're supposed to be doing something, and we are supposed to be doing something every day. And some of those days, the something is just exist as a human. You were not created to grind and hustle every day. True discipline honors you. It builds structure around your purpose, not your fear. But most people are taught that they're taught to obey the pressure of life and call it commitment. So I got these bills that I'm saying are on my back, because oftentimes they're not even on our back. Now, some of us they may be, but oftentimes the bills aren't that heavy. Like we can get the bills taken care of and take 2 days off in the month and not get kicked out of our homes. So we're taught to obey that alleged pressure. Oh, I got to make sure I get this done so I can get these bills paid. And then we call that commitment to our business or commitment to ourselves. No. That's commitment to fear. So we start thinking that working hard is always good, even when it's draining the life out of you. How can something be good and beneficial if it doesn't make you feel good? Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, sometimes you got to do things that you don't like. That's hustle culture. That's hustle culture. Sometimes you just got to take care of your responsibilities. Yeah, I understand that. That's still more hustle culture. That's still fear. That's still fear. That's you believing that if I don't do this, everything I'm responsible for is going to fall apart. That's not you aligning with purpose. That's you having a commitment to your fears. That's when hustle becomes a form of self-abandonment. You're not building anything anymore. You're just trying not to fall apart. Ooh. This is when doing what you got to do becomes a lifestyle. And you forget what you were even building. You at a place where I just got to hustle and just got to do what I got to do, whatever that may be. Now, most of us grew up hearing that line, right? You got to do what you got to do. And in certain seasons, this is definitely true. Sometimes you really do have to survive. But what happens when the survival mindset becomes permanent? Have you ever thought about that? What happens when the temporary hustle becomes your identity? You stop chasing your dream and you just start chasing relief. You don't even realize what's happening no more because you're so used to just being in motion. It's like, now I'm all for living in the moment, okay? Trust and believe that's crucial to be able to enjoy the moment, but not when the moment that you're stuck in or focused on is not from your center. Not when you're in the moment of of fear. So I'm just trying to do this so I can have this, so I can make sure I'm good right now. That's operating from fear. It's okay to be in the moment when you're living in purpose and you're living in flow and you're living in alignment. But when you're in the moment because you're just afraid that the next moment is going to fall apart if you don't do it right now, then that's where the issue comes in. At first, doing what you got to do feels responsible, but over time, it turns into an emotional amnesia. You forget what you wanted for yourself. You forget the version of you that once dreamed big. You stop asking what's possible and start asking, all right, well, what's manageable? You don't make decisions from vision, you make them from obligation. And before you know it, you've built a life you've never wanted because you were too busy handling business to check in with your soul. This is why some people feel exhausted even when their life looks good. I never forget this commercial. This guy was like, I live in a nice house in the suburbs. And showed his house with the white picket fence. And he says, I drive a nice car, and so does my wife. And he said, I'm a member at this country club. And then he's like, you want to know how I did it? He said, I'm in debt up to my eyeballs. The life looks good. You're committed to the idea, but it's killing you. It's because you're living in a structure that you built for survival, not to enjoy. You build the life to survive, not a life to be happy. The structure is solid, but it's hollow. You build it with grit and not God. You build it with work ethic and not alignment. And now you're wondering why it doesn't feel like home. The answer is simple. You were never meant to live forever in the mindset you develop just to make it through. Come on. You were never meant to live forever in a mindset, in an identity that was just to make it through. But you brung that just got to make it through for 10, 15 years. You already made it through. What we going to do on the other side? Now, this grind mode, it keeps you in a loop of fear that's based on survival. Now, grind mode may feel noble. It feels productive. It even gets some results. But it's often fueled by fear of not being enough, fear of losing momentum, fear of slipping back into a version of yourself you work hard to escape. So you stay busy, not because you're aligned, but because you're afraid of what happens if you stop. What happens if I stop? That's why you can't rest. That's why you can't take breaks. That's not purpose, that's panic, dressed up as ambition. That's not purpose. That's panic dressed up as ambition. It's not something that's coming from your core. It's something that's trying to put out fires, but you put a suit on it and said, no, that's just my ambition. No, that's not your ambition. You afraid if you stop today, you're going to die, but you won't. One of the things in my coaching, because I'm big on your nervous system and your neurology, right? So the feelings that we feel, because our amygdala is what controls our fight, flight, or freeze response. And whenever we have like an opportunity or a new job or a decision to make, or we're trying to make build a new business or get into a new relationship, right? Your amygdala senses any kind of fear and puts you into fight, flight, or freeze mode. And one of the things I always say to the people I coach is, do you feel like you have a gun to your head? And do you have a gun to your head? Because you should not be feeling the same fear that you would feel if somebody has a gun in your face when you're thinking about starting a business. We operating with the same fear, like we about to die, when we're not even in no real fear. That's just how our brain and our nervous system works. We have to identify that and say, hold on. This decision ain't about to kill me. This decision is not, it ain't nothing about this decision that's about to kill me. I should not be feeling like this. I should not be operating with this kind of fear. Why do I have so much fear from something that's not really going to harm me? Need some water, my mouth getting dry. So we get trapped in the hustle, and the trap is that the results sometimes look good. You might make money, you might grow your brand, people might applaud you, but behind the scenes you're tired, you're anxious, you're disconnected from your own joy. That's because grind mode keeps you in a reactive state. You're always trying to solve some kind of problem, always chasing the next goal, always proving something. But when you're reacting all the time, you're never creating from clarity. You're just trying not to drown. You're flailing in the water instead of swimming. It's a difference when if you jump in the water and you just flailing around. If you will be able to just calm down in the water, not the flailing comes from fear. So not be in fear and get in alignment, then you can move the water out of the way easily, and get back to the side. But it's the fear that causes reckless movements, and the reckless movements will cause you to drown. So hustle culture has you in that space. Now, the flailing, it can keep you above water for some time. But eventually the flailing is going to burn you out. And once you burn out, that's when you drown. But you think just because your head is still above the water that it's okay. No, baby, you 10 minutes from drowning. Now this fear-based hustle, it gets addictive. It gives you just enough wins to justify that burnout. But deep down, you know it's not sustainable. You weren't designed to live in that kind of constant urgency. That's why so many high achievers, quote unquote, high achievers crash out. Because no matter how talented or tough you are, your spirit will eventually reject the life built on fear. Eventually your spirit is going to be like, no, I can't do this no more. And that's when you start breaking down. You got to get in alignment. Now, alignment, when I talk about alignment, right, that doesn't mean no effort, because sometimes we like think about like law of attraction and stuff like that, which I do believe in the law of attraction, law of vibration, and all of that. You know, that's not what I'm talking about here with alignment. You know, it doesn't mean no effort. It means that you have no wasted effort. Alignment is not laziness. It's not just sitting around waiting for the universe to drop blessings in your lap. You still work, you still show up, but the difference is your work works. Your effort is directed, intentional, and sustainable. You're no longer hustling to prove something. You're building from your identity. That shift right there changes everything when you're building from your identity. When you're aligned, you don't need pressure to produce. Come on. When you're aligned, you don't need pressure to produce. You're pulled forward by clarity. You're just in flow. And when you're in flow, the production comes. It's not you saying today, I got to do this. When you put yourself in a position where you're saying, I had to accomplish this today, what you're saying is, no matter how good it is, I'm going to finish it today. And you're going to end up with a product that is half-assed. But when you say, I'm going to flow the best way I can, and when my flow finishes it, it's going to be the best that my flow could give. That's totally different. The flow doesn't have pressure. Think of the flow as a river. It just flows, and then it chooses the path of least resistance. If something is in the way, the water just hits it and just moves another way. It don't try to fight through it. It just says, no, I'm going to flow. I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to keep going where I'm going. But one thing I'm not going to do is stop flowing. We stop the flow and say, no, we got to be right here. So when you're flowing in alignment, you move from a place of internal peace, and because of that, your output feels lighter. It feels easier. Like for me, writing, I used to put a date on when I'm going to finish my book. All right, this book is going to be done on XYZ day, and I make sure the book is done. But guess what? When I look back over my books right now, I feel like they ain't nothing but C work. I don't think my books were nothing but C work. You know why? Because I didn't flow. I told y'all I wrote my books in 90 days. This new book I've been writing for 3 years. When the flow comes to write, I'm going to write. When the flow don't come, guess what? I'm going to be human that day. I'm going to be human that day. I am not, yes, I'm an author, but that's not the sum of who I am. That's not the sum of who I am. So some days when I don't write, some days when I don't speak, some days when I don't create a video, some days when I don't counsel somebody, some days when I don't do something for a course, I just am human. I don't know why I said it like that. I'm just human. And it's okay for a human to be human some days. You are not a robot. Some days, take a day to just be a human being. Now, wasted effort happens when you're chasing goals that were never yours, when you're trying to impress people who are never meant to understand you, when you're doing things out of fear instead of purpose. Alignment doesn't remove the need for work. It just removes the need for suffering. See, in hustle culture, it told us that, sometimes it's just going to be hard. And sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do. And sometimes you got to do the things that you don't like to do. Now, when you when you in alignment, it removes the suffering. And that's a freedom that most people have never felt. Lastly, I want to say this. Well, I got more because we're going to talk about getting out of grind mode, getting into alignment. We're going to give you some solutions. But I want you to know that there's a different kind of power that doesn't come from willpower. When you're in alignment, there's a different kind of power that doesn't come from willpower. Now, the world will tell you that discipline and willpower are everything. And sure, they matter. But there's another kind of power, a quieter, deeper kind that doesn't come from pushing. It comes from permission. Permission to be who you are. Permission to stop pretending. Permission to rest without guilt. That kind of power is magnetic. It attracts what's meant for you because it flows from the core of who you are. Sometimes willpower is going to run out. That's why so many people burn out. They're forcing results from a place of resistance. But when you're aligned, you move differently. You don't have to hype yourself up every morning to get it done. The work calls you. The mission fuels you. The identity sustains you. That's the shift from force to flow. The different kind of power outside of willpower. When you get willpower is forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. When you get into alignment, you're operating from another power. You are operating from a place where what you are setting out to do, the goals that you have set to do, are calling you, and you don't have to force yourself to do it because the work is in you saying, I want to come out. You're waking up with a desire to do, because let's bring it back, because you're not doing, you're being. We talked about that a couple nights ago. Being is the new doing. I have a book over here somewhere. I'll show you all that book. I do. Make sure y'all pick up this Being is the New Doing by my sister Radia Rhodes. Such a wonderful book, wonderful sister. I actually have an interview with her on my YouTube page too. I'm gonna have to do another interview with her soon. I haven't talked to her in a while. Where was I at? Where was I at? Oh, the work is calling you. You don't need willpower. It's a different kind of power when the work wakes you up. Not you wake up to work, but the work wakes you up. when you're doing something that you love so much that while you sleep, you thinking about the work because it's not work no more. It's just you being. It's just you flowing from your identity. It's just your I am in action. Come on. It's just your soul, your spirit expressing itself. It's not you working, it's your core. It's you manifesting what's in you on the outward. It's not willpower, it's aligned power. Woo! It's moving from force to flow. Now, I'm not saying that we should throw away any kind of structure. I'm saying upgrade the source. You don't need more willpower, you need more alignment. You need to be doing something that you don't need willpower to do. If you are doing something that you need willpower to do, then that's not the thing for you. Like if every day, now understand, I'm not saying like quit your job right now because you hate it. I know you got to pay your bills. And I said earlier, there are seasons where you have to do what you have to do. But we have to start taking some time to get into alignment and figuring out how we can flow from our core. That way we can start doing what we want to do and we don't have to do what we have to do for life. So it's okay in this season. Yes, you got to do what you got to do, but I don't want to see you still having to do what you got to do in 5 years. That making sense? Let's talk about getting out of grind mode and getting into alignment. Let's talk some real steps. If you want to move from fear-based hustle to that aligned power, here's where you start. First of all, let's say identify where your effort is coming from. Is it coming from fear or is it coming from truth? Before you act, pause, ask, why am I doing this? If the answer is fear or fear of falling behind or fear of being judged or fear of losing relevance or you're in grind mode or any kind of fear, we know that's not good. If the answer is peace, purpose, calling, you're getting closer to alignment. But awareness is the first shift. So thinking about everything you do on in a day, like start like the key to changing your life is becoming aware of what you do daily. The key to changing your life is becoming aware of what you do daily. I swear that's about 90% of the journey. If you can actually become aware of what you're doing, when you look at it, you'll be like, God damn, I'm doing some shit I don't even need to be doing. Like because we are operating on an autopilot and we're never sitting down and recounting our day. We just go through the day and we go through the next day and we never even sit down and say, all right, well, what was my day like? What did I do? And then why did I do it? When you get aware of what you're doing daily, you'll be like, yo, I need to change something. So becoming aware, that first step is so powerful because it's about 90% of the process. Once you recognize that you're doing some things that you shouldn't be doing, as we always said, when you know better, you do better. So awareness, that's that first shift. Next thing is start replacing urgency with rhythm. Grind mode lives in constant urgency. Now, gotta do it 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 now. Alignment lives in rhythm. It's just a flow. It's like the difference between watching a dancer that you can see going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then somebody who's just flowing. That's the difference. See the grind mode, the hustle is the 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see they counting steps. The alignment is when you just at one with the beat. I can't dance, so I probably look crazy right now. But alignment, you know what I'm saying? That's like Blue Ivy on the tour of Beyonce. At first, she was in the hustle. She was 1, 2, 3, 4, but then she started getting more in alignment. By the end of the tour, she was in flow. She was in flow. So that means creating structure around your natural energy, not society's clock. That means, I hope y'all, that means creating structure, because we still have structure, creating structure around your natural energy, not society's clock. So you have a structure where you allow yourself to flow. Like I have a time in the morning that I schedule to write. But if the flow ain't flowing, I'm not forcing. So I have the structure, but the structure is still around my natural energy. So when it's flowing from me, oh, I got the structure, and at that time, oh, I'm a flow. And if sometime during the day outside of my structured time, if stuff just starts hitting me, oh, I'm a flow. So I'm gonna have the structure, but the structure is going to be around my natural energy and not society's clock. Now, when do you feel most alive? What routines support your clarity? Start honoring those rhythms. Like when you do something that just always use the term light. You know, when you just doing something that just feel easy. Like everything happens, you feel it in your body. So to me, it's like a feeling that starts in your chest and it just comes up towards your shoulders lightly. Like it feels like fresh air inside the body. It's just light. Where do you feel most loud? Where do you feel most light? What routines support your clarity? Start honoring those rhythms instead of trying to force a fake routine that's going to wear you out. Discipline is powerful, but only when it flows with your design. So you can be as disciplined as you want to be, and you will discipline yourself to a grave. Next thing, stop proving, start choosing. A lot of people are still working to prove that they're worthy to their parents, worthy to society, worthy to their friends, worthy to the person that didn't like them when they was in middle school. I'll never understand those people, but hey, they exist. That creates constant pressure to outperform yourself. Instead, shift into choosing what's aligned. Say yes to what feeds you. Say no to things that don't feed you without guilt. Listen, can I say this to you? I know I ain't nobody. No, I ain't nobody special. But right now, I need you to pretend. I need you to believe that I'm very, very important in your life. Listen, I'm changing my voice right now because I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me like I'm speaking directly to your spirit. I give you permission to say no without feeling guilty. I give you permission to turn down things that don't feed you. I give you permission to feel 100% comfortable not being other people's doormat. I give you permission to say no. All right. That was the Lord speaking to you, by the way. Give you permission. Now, if my permission wasn't good enough, give yourself permission to say no without guilt. Because our problem, we know what don't feed us, but then when somebody want us to do it, we feel bad if we tell them no. Listen, I can't. That don't speak to my spirit no more. I can't do it. I can't do it. That drains me. That bothers me. That hurts me. That weighs me down. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. In fact, I'm not sorry. No. I'm not sorry. I'm not feeling no guilt. Listen, I can't do it. And if you can't understand that, you don't love me. You don't love me. Remember, alignment isn't passive, it's assertive. It's knowing what's yours and walking in it without explanation. This is who I am, and this is how who I am lives. And that is not aligned with who I am. And I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You got to get somebody else to do it. That's not something I do anymore. Give yourself permission to say no without guilt. Next thing, redefine success as peace and not performance. Yeah, I want to. What's successful? Think about this, right? When you think about you having the biggest success in your life, like you've accomplished everything that you wanted to accomplish, then where do you see yourself? I know every time I see myself when I'm at the pinnacle, I'm somewhere resting at peace. Oh, I'm on an island somewhere. I'm drinking a mixed drink. I don't even drink mixed drinks. I'm drinking a slushy drink on a resort. I'm on a beach getting a massage in Fiji. That's where I'm seeing. That's what I see success. So why don't we typically equate success with peace? Our success is all performance. You will never feel aligned if you keep measuring yourself by someone else's metrics. Success is to achieve a desired end. It's not somebody else's desired end. It's whatever you decide. So redefine what winning means for you. For you, it might mean having peace in the morning. I know that means the world for me to be able to wake up and just choose peace. It might mean showing up as your whole self without shrinking. Stop trying to earn the applause of other people and start honoring your alignment. You'll find peace is a better motivator than pressure ever was. Because when you're operating from a place where I'm doing things that bring me peace, it feels so much better than operating from I'm doing this because I have pressure on my back. So success is me being able to flow, me being able to live, me being able to build, me being able to create in a way where it brings me peace, not stress because I'm doing it because there's pressure on my back. Lastly, shift your identity, not just your strategy. You can't just change your calendar. You have to change who the calendar belongs to. If you keep operating from the false self, no strategy will stick. So start becoming the person who moves in alignment, speak like them, rest like them, make decisions like them. That's how hustle gets turned into purpose. Now, so some of you might not be familiar with a lot of shadow work, a lot of deep work, and a lot of neurological work. So some stuff might sound like woo woo or fake or crazy, but when we're talking about getting aligned with that new identity, I heard a brother, I forget what his name is. His brand is Shift, but when he's coaching, he says he always asks people, "What does the best version of you look like?" Make them spell it out. And then whatever issue that they're having, he says, well, how did you respond to that? They'll say how they responded. And then he said, well, how would the best version of you respond to that? I know that sounds simple, but I mean, most of the stuff is simple. We just don't want to do it. Like affirmations are simple, but we think they're silly and we think they don't work. We think it's BS, but no, literally affirmations rewire your brain. Your brain listens to what you tell it. So whatever you continue to affirm day after day after day after day, your brain begins to believe it and wires itself and then rewires your body to try to make whatever that affirmation come to pass. That is neurology. That is not some kind of mysticism or some kind of spirituality. That is just plain neurology. That is how your brain works. So if every morning you get up and you say affirmations, eventually they will create synapse in your brain. The neurons will fire and it will get stronger. And then your brain will start sending information to your nervous system. And then your nervous system will start responding. And then your nervous system will start sending information to your enteric nervous system. And now from your gut feeling up to your brain, now your body is feeling different whenever you're in certain situations because your affirmations done rewired your brain. And now you're feeling comfortable in different areas. It's so much that happens, but we think everything is just some kind of woo-woo stuff because we never learned it. So when we're talking about shifting to this new identity, all right, really, like, how does this new person walk? Do they pull their shoulders back? How does this new person think? When you're idle, what's going through your mind, right? And then, well, shoot, if I was living the best version of my life, would I be thinking about this? Would I be watching the Real Housewives, or would I be watching Love and Hip Hop? Would I be certain things just get out of here, start living that new life, start walking in that new identity, create thoughts that align with this new identity. And when you start thinking and speaking like this new identity, it begins to change your brain. And once it changes your brain, it gets deep into your subconscious, and that's how your new identity is formed. next class, next live, we're going to dig deep into that. Next live, we're going to dig deep into changing your brain chemistry. We're going to dig deep into that. That's what we're going to do. So tonight, I hope this spoke to I hope this spoke to you all. I hope it just shed some kind of light on you to help you recognize when hustling becomes hiding, when you're hiding your true self behind the hustle. So again, it's Coach Nkrumah. Make sure y'all like, follow, share, tag some people, and I'll see you and join the Facebook group. Make sure you join my Facebook group Killing Yesterday, the movement. And I'll see y'all next time we go live.